What's going on, guys? I've been working on the PT-GT as much as I could recently, trying to get it to the point of its first start, because I really wanted to put that video up before any of the others because we're like so close, but we ran into some problems that unfortunately I don't know how long it's going to take me to get what I need and figure everything out to get the car to actually start. And I'm going to talk about it in this video. I guess this is basically like a first start fail video, unfortunately, but I think you guys will still like it. There's some valuable information on the manual swap in this video as well, and I tested some things, and I guess I tested things and they didn't work out how I hoped. It happens. But anyways, this update on the latest progress on the PT-GT, getting it almost running. Let's get into it. I've been wondering if the stock GT axles were going to work with this transmission, or if I would have to get NA axles. That's what we're about to find out right now. I guess I'm going to try to go ahead and put the little mid shaft in. Eli's taking the motor mount out. He's going to try to do something temporary to make it work. Oh, good lord. Whoa. It tipped on the jack stand. That's a little sketchy. Yeah, that transmission mount was from the automatic, and it's just not quite out far enough to bolt up, so I gotta order one. Eli was like, why don't I try to at least get it so it can work, because maybe, just maybe, we can get this thing to like at least start up and run for the first time and move around. So if we can make little spacers for it for now, hopefully it doesn't become permanent. So the GT has this mid shaft, they call it, or whatever they call intermediate shaft, not the actual CV axle. This goes up to the CV axles. CV axles are over there. That is for the passenger side. On the non-turbo ones, they actually had one long CV axle that would go to the passenger side. And I've heard anyway that they sometimes don't fit. For a little context on that, as most of you guys know already, I swapped an NVT 350 manual transmission into the car, which is the manual out of a non-turbo PT Cruiser. This being a turbo PT Cruiser, there are some small differences. One of them being, the main difference being that the axle has an intermediate shaft on the turbo and not on the non-turbo. So I wasn't sure if the fitment would be correct. So I'm going to find out right now if that's true. But so it seems to be fitting.
Fitting where?
In the transmission. I don't know where this bolts up though. I think there's a bracket that needs to be put somewhere that this is going to bolt up to. So it slots in okay, but I'm not sure. Got to try to bolt up the other end and see what we're working with.
Hey guys, Jimmy Cruiser here. Jimmy Cruiser down there.
I need a small extension.
How small?
Be low average.
Here you go.
Perfect, actually, probably.
Why didn't you put this washer on your axle?
Oh. I'm going to need a slightly larger than average extension.
Oh, hello, it's the shop cat.
Hi, kitty. I got a little friend working under the car with me.
She likes to drink all
This
the
is Eli's
fluids.
cat. Eli and Amber's cat. Bolting the axle in right now. I also had to bolt the bracket in. I forgot I had taken it off. Once this is in, it looks like everything's going to be good. I got the axle in on the other side. It's slotted in just fine over here. And everything looks okay. I guess, I mean, there's a slight potential that could like leak fluid or something, but it felt like it was fit in there good. So far the axles are fitting. As you can see, this axle slotted in just fine. It's all in there ready to go pretty much. Obviously got to put the other axle in, but I also went ahead and threw the AC compressor in. I need to get a new one. But this is just in for the belt's sake, and got the power steering pump in. Got to bolt up the slave cylinder and a bunch of random things like that, and also gonna be fixing some wiring. This isn't like necessarily modification to the wires that's gonna be needed, but just fixing other things. Like for example, this mess. Yeah, we won't talk about that, but that's all gonna be fixed and better, and we're gonna really clean this harness up. I noticed what looked like a little bit of sand remnants from when we sandblasted this thing in the holes for coil packs, so I'm just gonna carefully blow them out a little. Oh yeah, I saw a little come out. Hopefully the threads themselves are not damaged or anything from that. Now I just gotta find the coil bolts in this mess. As we put everything together, I've been trying my best to like clean things up and kind of detail everything, including the spark plug wires, which I'm doing right now as I put them in. I wanted to at least stick them in before we put the intake manifold in, because I know some of them are going to be a little hard to reach, but a lot of the stuff has been sitting in my garage up there at the house for, you know, a year and a half, 2 years. So it's covered in dirt, dust, and cobwebs. So I think that's going to contribute a lot to this engine bay just looking really, really good. So yeah, I'm getting everything cleaned up. Even though the intake manifold technically will be on it temporarily. And including the wiring harnesses, I'll probably clean up some and just clean everything. But I like to clean a lot. So that's kind of partly why I'm doing it. We'll also give the engine bay a full detail, and, you know, pressure wash it and everything when it's done, but it's gonna look really freaking good. All right, time for the fun part here with the GT, and that is dealing with this spaghetti. So basically, this is all coming off the fuse box, most of this anyway. Some of it goes up to the PCM, but that's like the main one that links in with the fuse box and comes down. And this is the other engine harness. The thing with this harness is a lot of it is gonna be going bye-bye. All these vacuum lines for the stock boost controller, the stock boost solenoids are gonna be going bye-bye, as well as transmission plugs, which I believe is mainly this one, but maybe some others. And also one of these is probably also going to be going bye-bye as well, because one of these is going to be the transmission plug, which is just going to no longer be used because we have the manual. So that's where we have to start splitting things up. I'm going to cut some loom and start pulling the trans stuff out and kind of go from there. So from everything I could tell, I ended up just completely removing that connector, because from the document I found, everything on that harness, from what I could see, was all transmission control stuff, which is basically completely not needed at this point. So I just went ahead and cut everything. There are some wires that ran into this plug, which I'm not completely sure what this plug is or where it goes. We're gonna find out, but basically just kind of snip them off. I believe it's probably just like reverse things and whatnot and power. But for now, I'm just gonna be like capping them, and I could eventually depin them. But I want to get the harness laid in there, start taping it back up and see exactly where everything's gonna run. I'm probably gonna kind of like at least start to plug some things in and lay things down before I start taping it, just so I make sure everything's routed in a way that it can reach. But yeah, it looks like we're on the right track at this point. This is kind of trial and error, so by the end of this, I should know whether or not this is gonna work or not, and then you guys can, you know, take that information as you wish. If you guys have never heard of this stuff, you should definitely try it, because it's amazing. It's basically like brake cleaner, but it's specifically made for electronics. I don't know if you can read that, but it's electronic cleaner. And it works really good for cleaning out really dirty connectors. I'll use this one for an example. It works really well like brake cleaner, but it's not gonna cause any problems like melting the plastic or anything. So it's really nice. I've been using it a lot for this project. It's been taking a while for me to sort through all the wires and clean everything up and figure out the whole transmission wiring thing, but we're getting there now. My next step is I'm gonna go ahead and clean up a bunch of the ground points where the ground straps are gonna be bolted to the car. I'm gonna use an angle grinder. I'm sorry, not an angle grinder, a die grinder, because it's the right angle, it should fit in there. I have a small wire brush attachment. I figured it'd be the most efficient way of getting this done, so let's do this. Clean up a little bit of this electronic cleaner. You can kind of see it there. I wanted to minimize the amount of paint loss by using that round bit, and I pretty much did Although I kind of messed up there a little bit, but put a little bit of dielectric grease on them as well. Ground wires are a common issue on these cars, so I figured while I'm at it, might as well make sure they're really clean and protected for the time being. Let's finish this wiring up, try to get it so that it can at least like run and maybe even drive with the wiring as it is.
One eternity later.
Got the wiring closer. I still need to button up a couple things, but worked on taping it and I got to put some loom on and stuff. But I'm gonna pause for now and work on the exhaust, because the exhaust does not exist. So this turbo has a V-band, so we're gonna be I'm gonna weld a little V-band thing onto a pipe. And eventually I have a plan to like adapt it to the old exhaust, but for now, I think a hood dump would be really nice for like the first start, first drive, and maybe permanent. I don't know, we'll cut that part out. Anyways, we got this random little piece of pipe I'm gonna use. I'm gonna cut like around here, and this is the V-band adapter flange I'm gonna weld on. Yeah, just gonna weld it on the end and send it. Oh yeah, and put an O2 sensor in it, I think.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Like it's nothing. Do that now. It's a good thing we just happen to have this piece of spare pipe, because that worked out really nice. That sensor actually came out pretty easy, which is a rare occurrence in any northern car. Alright, so this is our exhaust for now. I'm going to be adding a little bit on, and we're going to be doing something kind of cool just for fun for the hood dump. Trust the process. For now, we got this in here. We got a nice bung welded in. I got to go ahead and put the sensor in, and this will also be using when I finish the exhaust, because I do want to eventually route it out the back of the car. So we'll be able to just take this V-band, turn it around, and fabricate a little bit of an angle that's going to go down into the flange on our downpipe. But we're really close to at least starting this car for the first time. We got to play with some wiring. That's the main thing. So I guess the next clip you see will be us attempting to start this thing for the first time and testing out some different methods of bypassing the neutral safety switch. And I'll get into that process later on in the video for those of you who have been asking about it. This video is now turned into the PTGT's first start fail. Why did it fail, Eli?
Because you didn't plan ahead.
Actually, that's kind of true. So we've gotten this far, and I hate to make a video without the car running, but it's been too long and I just want to upload it. Basically, we got everything together. We've got like everything situated for the car to run. We need some help.
Well, I'll be right back, guys. Oh.
Originally, I was going to try to, what do you say, test the theory, I guess, that the automatic PCM could technically work with the manual transmission, but did that fuel pump just prime?
It did.
That is suspicious. Sorry, we have a BMW that's just like talking to us even though it's off and the key is off. No more fuel pump for you. I wasn't sure if we would have to do a neutral bypass, but I figured we would because there is going to be some sort of automatic transmission safety thing so that you can't start or run the car without it being in park or neutral, and it wasn't going to be able to tell whether it was in park or neutral without any of that stuff plugged in anymore and all of it cut out of the harness. Sure enough, that was the case. Basically, this car has, it's a transmission range sensor. It works off of a bunch of switches built into the transmission that are contact switches. When it's in a certain gear, there's contact made, voltage goes through telling the computer that this gear's open. It's a series of 4 switches that work together to tell the car what gear the transmission's in, basically. We tried multiple different ways of trying to fool the computer into thinking that it was in like park or neutral. I literally have the diagram, I'll flash it on the screen, of like the switch position and everything, and information on all of the connectors for the PCM and everything. And we were using that data to try to figure it out, and we couldn't. It would not work. And I don't know, I'm starting to wonder actually if the PCM itself is bad or is bricked. It was exposed to the elements for a little bit with the car being, you know, down for a while. Or, you know, maybe it's not as simple as it looks, and there's some certain way we'd have to like use resistors and a lot of things like that to try to get it to read right and to fool the computer. I don't know. Either way, it's too much. We even debated, well, Eli had the bright idea to take the transmission and like set it in front of the car in the trunk and run the wires back and plug the range sensor in.
That was only to see if it would
just start. To see if it would start that way. And it would have been really funny to do, I'm not gonna lie. But it's a waste of time at this point. I know I need to get a manual computer for it and then wire in. All I'll need is a clutch switch, which, you know, I have it. Just gotta wire it in and we'd be good to go. So at this point, kind of standstill because I'm gonna go ahead and just order the manual PCM, get it flashed to the VIN, and we'll continue on from there for the first start. But we made good progress. We have everything hooked up that needs to be hooked up for it to be at its first start. Obviously, coolant, charge piping, all that kind of stuff, like the plumbing and some other small aspects need to still be taken care of before it'll be drivable, but making sure it runs and everything's good before we put all that clutter back in is kind of important. So,
Could you help me?
what do you need help with?
Putting these boards on here when I lift it up.
Oh, okay, one sec. Oh yeah, by the way, we built a welding table. It's kind of cool, actually. It was mainly Eli's idea, I'm not gonna lie.
It was built completely out of scrap metal for $0 and 0 cents.
It was literally, yes, we went up to his dad's and his dad's metal pile. And
This was my piece of metal, though.
Was it your, oh, you got this from work?
My place of
employment. Okay, so he got this from his place of employment, and this is really, really heavy.
It's so heavy, you can do this and it won't break.
That's crazy, dudes. But we used, we had to use the lift to lift it. And this was actually one solid piece of metal. Well, here, we have a piece of it in here. This was like buried underneath a tree next to the metal pile. And him and his dad, I just stood there and watched and was very entertained. But they dragged that out of the frickin' ground somehow. Then he ended up cutting it. We welded her up, and it's a big, heavy welding table. That has something to do with the PTGT, so let's get back over here. Oh, all right, I gotta help him. Anyways, on today's episode of me convincing Eli not to do something extremely sketchy. Oh, you need my help still?
Yes, I need your help still.
Oh, sorry.
That is touching the metal.
Whoops. Anyways, so over here to the PTGT, as you can see, I got the little hood dump all set up. I already kind of showed it to you guys, but that is in there. The bung is in there. I still have to screw the sensor in. I have an old hood that I can cut a hole in, and I want to do it just for like the first start, the first drives, because I have some funny ideas for it. But you'll see. I had to loop some vacuum lines just to start it for the first time, but I'm in the process of going through, and I got to get all the vacuum lines situated, situate some of our last wires and clean them up once and for all, get everything mounted. And then we can go ahead and put the radiator in, work on our charge piping, probably slowly gonna build new charge pipes and get a new intercooler too for them. One by one, upgrading things, getting things running. So sadly I couldn't start it, but I think I just gotta go ahead and bite the bullet. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get a new PCM or what that's gonna entail exactly. So I didn't want to wait to update you guys on the car. We've been busy and we made some progress. So want to show you and let you know that I got some other videos coming. Eli's patiently waiting to use the grinder until I stop running my mouth. So I'm going to hurry up. finish what I'm talking about. But different videos coming, possibly the Eclipse, but mainly the new S550 Mercedes. We've made progress. The car runs and drives pretty dang good. It needs a few small things that we're gonna fix, make a video or two on. And that will be out very, very soon, actually. There won't be another break. I already have other stuff planned for after that. So there's always something going on here that can be filmed. So I really have no reason not to upload. But if anybody tries to manual swap in the future, just get a PCM. Just do it the right way. And also wait for my next video before you do it too, because you'll probably learn even more things that you should do before. See you guys in the next video about the Mercedes coming soon. And yeah, take it easy, guys. Say bye, Eli.
No.
All right, well, anyways.